Right now, all eyes are on the Middle East. After days of missile barrages, thousands dead, and fears of a wider war, the world is watching. But few truly understand the roots of this deadly rivalry. The Iran-Israel conflict didn't start with missiles. It began with secrets, spies, and silent battles. A shadow war waged long before the first rocket streaked across the night sky. Today, we're peeling back the layers of this complex conflict, exploring how it evolved from covert operations to the proxy battles and nuclear brinkmanship that brought us to this point. We'll reveal the hidden history that continues to shape the region today. Did you know that Iran and Israel were once allies? Back in the 1950s and 60s, it was a different time. The relationship between these two nations was anything but hostile. Under the Shah, Iran had officially recognized Israel, though it kept the relationship a secret. They were like two friends sharing a secret handshake, all while pretending to be sworn enemies in public. This double game continued for years. They traded oil for weapons. Israel needed oil, and Iran had plenty to spare. They also shared intelligence, fought against Arab nationalism together, and had each other's back during tough times. It was an unusual partnership, but hey, sometimes common interests bring unlikely friends together. But this peaceful partnership didn't last forever. And the story takes a sharp turn in 1979, when the Iranian Revolution shook the country to its core. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a religious leader, led the charge against the Shah's regime. The Shah was forced to flee, and Iran became an Islamic republic. And guess what? The new regime wasn't too fond of Israel. They saw Israel as an oppressive force in the region and labeled them the Little Satan, while America got the title of Great Satan. Iran broke off all diplomatic ties, and the cozy alliance was over in a blink. The following year, the Iranian embassy in London was attacked and the hostages taken. Negotiations failed, and the British SAS swooped in, ending the crisis. But the damage was done. The friendship was on life support, and it wouldn't last much longer. Then, in 1980, war broke out between Iran and Iraq. And let me tell you, it was brutal. The Iran-Iraq War was one of the deadliest conflicts of the late 20th century. And amidst all the chaos, Israel found itself in a sticky situation. They had to choose sides. And guess what they did? They sided with Iraq. Why, you ask? Well, Israel and Iraq didn't see eye to eye, but they had a shared enemy in Iran. So Israel provided Iraq with intelligence and weapons. They even carried out covert attacks against Iran, all in the name of national security. During this turbulent time, Israel faced its own share of turmoil with the Yom Kippur War just a year earlier. The war was a surprise attack by Egypt and Syria on October 6, 1973. During the holiday of Yom Kippur, Israel was caught off guard, but they rallied and fought back. And let me tell you, the impact was huge. The war made Golda Meir, Israel's prime minister at the time, very unpopular. There were protests and calls for her resignation. Even Moshe Dayan, a war hero, threw in the towel. He stepped down as defense minister, leaving everyone wondering what would happen next. As the Iran-Iraq War raged on, the situation in Lebanon took a dangerous turn. In 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon, aiming to crush the growing threat of the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO. You might have heard of them. The war was intense, leaving hundreds dead and thousands more wounded. In the midst of this chaos, Israel faced a new challenge: thousands of refugees fleeing their homes and seeking refuge in camps near the border. These camps became breeding grounds for resentment and a hotbed for radical groups like Hezbollah. With support from Iran, Hezbollah started causing trouble, attacking Israel with rockets and bombs. The violence escalated, and so did the tension along the Israel-Lebanon border. It was a volatile situation and a powder keg waiting to explode. In response, Israel carried out airstrikes against PLO targets in Lebanon, aiming to weaken their position and stop the attacks. Meanwhile, Hezbollah grew in power with Iran's backing. They were determined to drive Israel out of southern Lebanon. As the 1980s drew to a close, the stage was set for a showdown. Fast forward to the 1990s, and Israel made a strategic move. They pulled out of Lebanon, hoping to put an end to the conflict there. But guess what? Hezbollah didn't lay down their weapons. They kept up the fight with attacks on Israeli targets along the border. It was a tense standoff and both sides were ready to defend their positions. Israel responded with airstrikes and assassinations, targeting Hezbollah members involved in attacks. The shadow war continued, leaving many questions unanswered. As the 21st century dawned, the stakes were higher than ever. On June 2006, Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel, kicking off a month-long conflict. The war was devastating. More than 1,000 Lebanese and Israeli civilians lost their lives. Hundreds more wounded, and thousands of rockets rained down on both sides. In the end, Israel emerged victorious, but the battle left scars that ran deep. After the dust settled, Israel withdrew further south, leaving southern Lebanon to Hezbollah's control. But that didn't mean the fighting stopped. Hezbollah kept trading blows, albeit more subtly. Israel conducted airstrikes in Syria, targeting Hezbollah weapons shipments and Iranian operatives. Each strike was a tit-for-tat move, escalating the tension and bringing the two sides closer to the edge. It was a dangerous game of cat and mouse, played out on a global scale. In 2011, the Arab Spring uprisings swept across the region, toppling long-standing regimes and leaving countries on the brink of change. In Syria, the uprising took a violent turn with protests against Bashar al-Assad's regime. The Syrian government responded with force, sparking a full-blown civil war. The conflict pulled in regional powers, including Iran and Israel, each supporting their own side. Iran backed Assad, providing military and financial aid to help him stay in power. Meanwhile, Israel stayed in the shadows, carrying out airstrikes against Assad's forces and suspected Iranian weapon shipments. The stakes were high. Assad's grip on power was tenuous, and his regime was hanging by a thread. The conflict became a proxy battleground where Iran and Israel fought by proxy, each trying to outmaneuver the other. It was a shadow war within a war. Fast forward to 2013, when a daring mission unfolded. Israeli agents infiltrated a Syrian airfield, sabotaging advanced Russian anti-aircraft missiles meant for delivery to Hezbollah. This risky move aimed to prevent Hezbollah from gaining an upper hand in potential conflicts with Israel. But the fallout was significant. It heightened tensions between Israel and Russia, a pivotal moment in their relationship. Then came the Mossad's most audacious operation yet, in 2018, the theft of Iran's nuclear files. The mission was top secret, carried out by Israel's renowned spy agency. The target: Iran's nuclear program. What they uncovered was shocking. Documents detailing Iran's nuclear activities, including undeclared sites and future plans. The information was handed over to Western intelligence agencies, leading to the 2015 nuclear deal, but the impact was far-reaching. The deal placed restrictions on Iran's nuclear program, limiting their activities and opening up areas for international inspection. It was a major setback for Iran's nuclear ambitions. Today, the shadow war rages on. Israel carries out airstrikes in Syria, targeting Iranian assets and weapons shipments. Each strike is a calculated move aimed at curbing Iran's influence in the region. Iran responds with rocket attacks and drone strikes, targeting Israeli assets in Syria and Iraq. It's a dangerous game of chicken, testing each side's resolve. The recent escalation adds another layer to this complex conflict. In October 2023, a group linked to Iran launched a surprise attack on Israel. The assault was devastating, leaving many Israelis dead and captured. The aftermath was swift. Israel responded with airstrikes on Iran and the border area, hitting Iranian and Hezbollah targets. As the region reels from this attack, questions about a larger war linger in the air. Will this lead to a full-blown conflict? Only time will tell. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue to monitor the situation closely. This is a developing story, and we'll be right here bringing you the latest updates. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.